Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Daily Fantasy Digest Podcast, the all-inclusive podcast where we talk all things fantasy sports to help give you an edge. We are back today on a Wednesday, here to break down the early slate. It's a weird day of baseball tomorrow, so it's a very, very heavy amount of early games tomorrow starting at noon. So we're going to be breaking down the early slate and not the main slate. So with that being said, let's do run back yesterday. Cubs, all right. Orioles, average. Wheeler and Sanchez, great. Depending on who you picked as the other two, might have squeaked in the cash lines. I squeaked in on some. I pretty much broke even on today. So I'm not counting it really as a win or a loss. Just a lot of weird things happened today. So I'm looking to jump into today with a better performance here. Just looking to blow this one out of the water. I feel really good about the slate. So let's jump into this one here. One pitcher above 10K, and that's Jarrett Cole, and we're locking him in. I think this is an absolute lock and load play. Jarrett Cole has flashed incredible upside all season with double-digit K performances heavily all over the season. My favorite thing about this is that Colorado is coming into Houston, and we all know that Colorado is absolutely terrible on the road. Their road numbers for hitting are just treacherous. So I think this is a great spot for Jarrett Cole. He should be the chalkiest player on the slate because all these middle-tier guys are just terrible. For me, my SP2 is actually going to be Tyler Alexander, who I think is going to be a fairly decently chalky play. I think that, he's facing a White Sox team that strikes out at a high rate. He's at home. Last time facing the White Sox in his opening outing, put up 12 fantasy points. He's flashed an upside of 9 Ks at points. I think this is a great spot. I really think that for a value pitcher, anything over 10 points for me, I'm going to call a win, especially for a pitcher who's 5.9K that allows you to have 4,000 left. I think this is a dive deep punt play, but I think it's an actually really, really good one. So I really like Tyler Alexander tomorrow. I think this is a great spot, and I think a lot of people are going to be going to him because there aren't that many viable options. Joe Ross is a decent option here, but we don't really know what we're going to get out of Joe Ross. It flashes in different waves, and Homer Bailey is another option as well. I think we could see a lot of upside come around that he's flashed this season, but for me, I think Tyler Alexander is a safer play just for a quick 10 points. So moving on to bat stacks here. 2 bat stacks that I want to really target today. Top bat stack today is going to be Houston Astros going up against Peter Lambert. I think this is just an absolute smash spot for a few players. Yordan Alvarez has to be locked in. There's no way around it. You'll have to lock him in as well as Michael Brantley. I think you have to lock both of these lefties in. And then flashing Yuli Gurriel in there is never a bad idea either. I think that you have to have both of these in there, or all 3 of these guys in there to really put up a solid lineup. Now, Cleveland Indians is my second stack here going up against Ariel Jurado. I think this is a really weird spot, but I'm loving a low tier and super low priced Jose Ramirez as well as Yasiel Puig. And then, like as always, doubling it back with the one and only Bobby Wilson or Jeff Mathis. But I'll flash Jeff Mathis in there just to get 3,700 for any sort of second baseman or shortstop is fairly easy. I think another great spot is to target Jose Quintana in that game. I think it's a great spot for a lot of low-owned Oakland A's players. But just for the sake of it, I think you could get away with playing somebody like Max Moroff if he plays Jason Kipnis. I really like a good Jason Kipnis tomorrow. So with that being said, keep this in mind. This is what my lineup's going to look like. I think that you have to flash both of these teams in your lineups. Low-tier catcher is the one and only thing that has to happen for this lineup to work. For pitching, Jarrett Cole and Tyler Alexander, I think, are top options. I think are really good options. And then for bat stacks, top of the line, Houston bat stack, Yuli Gurriel, Yordan Alvarez, and Michael Brantley. You can switch out Brantley with Correa or Bregman. Either one works for me. And then Cleveland Indians going up against Jurado. Kipnis, Ramirez, and Yasiel Puig are my favorite players by far. So I think you can get a lot of really good bats here today. So with that being said, I want to make my dinger of the day call, who is going to be Yuli Gurriel. I think that Yuli Gurriel is going to be a great spot tomorrow. Peter Lambert just gets shelled on all fronts. I think Gurriel as well as Yordan Alvarez here could both go yard. Alvarez has flashed incredible upside recently, and he's hitting incredibly well. So for me, Gurriel is just in a smash spot. I love everything about him tomorrow on this slate. So with that being said, I really want to reiterate that making sure that you really lock in Houston and Cleveland tomorrow as your 2 top bat stacks is going to be really vital, and reiterate that the low-tier catcher is mandatory for this build. So with that being said, appreciate all the love and support we've been receiving on the videos lately. Keep smashing that like button. Keep hitting that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Love seeing the numbers jump. And then head on over to Twitter. Follow the podcast at @FantasyDigest_. Stay up to date with everything regarding the podcast and the upcoming fantasy football season, which will be live on Friday. We're going to be live streaming the draft with all of your favorite DFS industry experts who are going to be in this, battling it out for $500. So keep in mind, it's going to be something exciting to look out for. So good luck to everybody tomorrow on this early morning slate. I'll be playing with you, winning some money, so let's win it together. See you on Thursday for another main slate breakdown here on the Daily Fantasy Digest podcast.